in a time long past. The world was filled with the sounds of people, but their hearts had grown quiet toward goodness. The ways of kindness had been forgotten. The ways of love had been forgotten, replaced by shadows of selfishness, replaced by shadows of discord. God looked upon the world he had so carefully crafted and saw that its beauty was clouded. A deep sadness filled his heart, for the people he loved had lost their way. The earth itself seemed to groan under the weight of their choices. It was a world that had forgotten its purpose, a world that desperately needed a new beginning, a fresh start cleansed of the hurt, a fresh start cleansed of the noise that drowned out the whispers of grace. Amidst this widespread confusion, there lived one man who still walked with God. His name was Noah. He was a simple man, a righteous man in his time, who found favor in the eyes of the Lord. He had not forgotten the old paths of faith. He had not forgotten the old paths of obedience. God's instructions to Noah were wonderfully specific, a blueprint for survival whispered from heaven to earth. He told Noah to build a great boat, an ark, unlike any vessel the world had ever seen. It was to be made from gopher wood, its seams sealed tight with pitch, inside and out, to make it impervious to the coming waters. The Lord gave him the exact dimensions: 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high. It would have 3 decks, rooms and compartments throughout, a single window set high near the roof. Noah listened to every word, his heart steady, accepting the monumental task without question or hesitation. Day after day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth, toiled under the sun. The sound of hammers and saws filled the air, a rhythm of obedience in a world that had forgotten how to listen. They felled great trees, shaped the timbers. Plank by plank, the massive structure began to take shape. People gathered to watch. Curiosity, mockery, disbelief. They saw a boat on dry land, far from any sea. Yet Noah did not waver. His focus remained on the divine instructions. As the ark neared completion, God told Noah to bring his family into the safety of the vessel: his wife, his 3 sons, their wives. They were the human seeds of the new world, but they would not be alone. God also commanded Noah to gather the animals of the earth, of every kind of beast, 2 by 2, a male and a female. Of the clean animals they were to come in 7s. Birds of the air, they were to come in 7s. This was not just about saving humanity. It was about preserving the rich tapestry of all life that God had created and called good. Then a sight of pure wonder unfolded. From forests, plains, and mountains they came. Lions beside lambs, great elephants with graceful deer. Birds of every color flew toward the ark's door. The animals came as if drawn by an unseen hand, 2 by 2 in 7s, finding their places within the vast wooden structure, a gentle gathering of life before the storm. When the last of the animals had been guided inside and Noah and his family were safely aboard, the great door of the ark was closed. The Bible tells us that the Lord himself shut them in. This single act was one of ultimate protection, a divine seal upon the vessel of hope. Outside, the world continued on for a few more days, unaware of the grace sealed away and the judgment about to be unleashed. For 7 days, they waited inside the ark. Then, it began. The sky began to weep. Soft patter became a relentless downpour. The heavens opened, and from below the fountains of the great deep burst forth, joining the torrent from the sky. It fell for 40 days and 40 nights, transforming the face of the earth. Puddles became streams, streams swelled into rivers, and rivers overflowed into vast, churning lakes, swallowing fields, villages, and cities. The mighty ark stirred and lifted, a solitary vessel on a new global ocean. It rose above the hills, above the very peaks of the highest mountains. Everything with breath on dry land was lost, but inside the ark, life was safe. For many long months, the ark drifted upon the face of the waters. Silence settled. They cared for the animals, prayed, waited, and trusted. But God did not forget Noah, nor any living thing with him. He sent a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters began to recede. The surge from the deep subsided, the floodgates of the heavens remained closed. The water level decreased, the great cleansing giving way to the promise of renewal. Finally, after months of drifting, the ark came to a gentle rest upon the mountains of Ararat. The motion of the sea was gone, replaced by a new and welcome stillness. He opened the window of the ark and looked out, but all he could see was water stretching to the horizon. He first sent out a raven, a strong and hardy bird, which flew back and forth until the waters had dried up. Seeking a more definitive sign, Noah then sent out a dove, but finding no place to rest, it returned. Noah waited another 7 days and sent the dove once more. This time, as evening fell, the dove returned, and in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. It was a message of life, a tender green sign the waters had receded enough for trees to emerge. After one more week, he sent the dove again, and this time it did not return. The world was ready to be lived in once more. With assurance the earth was dry, God spoke again. "Go out from the ark," he said, "you, your wife, your sons, their wives with you. Bring out every living thing that is with you." The great door was opened and a new world greeted them, fresh air washed pure by the rains. Noah, his family, and all the animals stepped out onto the renewed ground. The first thing Noah did was build an altar to the Lord, offering a sacrifice of thanksgiving. In that humble gratitude, a new covenant was about to be forged, one built on mercy and remembrance. In response, God made a solemn promise, not just to Noah but to all humanity, every living creature, for all generations to come.